Hi, I'm Sarah. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. That means we have a new HOH and we have some live feed spoilers to talk about for Big Brother Season 23. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It helps the channel. Thank you so much. Why am I wearing my earpods? Because I was just doing a stream where I needed to hear audio, but now I do not. So we'll put those away. We do not need them. Hi, everybody. Sarah, I love your name. What's up? It's been a long week, Ben. Happy Friday. I know you're in school, so I'm glad that it's the weekend for you. Hi, everybody. We got a Tiffany HOH. We got a Tiffany HOH. Yeah, let's sing it together. Tiffany is HOH. Whee! It's been a long time coming for little Miss Tiff. She needed it, and she was able to get it. So let's talk about it. Her noms were obvious. We knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, last night we did not see any wavering. She got right to it with her one-on-ones. We'll talk about the important ones here. But noms did happen this morning. Kylan is on the block. Sarah Beth is on the block. Xavier is also on the block. He's doing his third nominee punishment this week, part of winning the veto this last week. So that is where we stand right now. Feeds have been down for several hours, 5 hours or so for the high rollers room. I am waiting to find out if we can figure out if the coin was won and used. I want to know. Happy birthday, Linda. It's your birthday weekend. It's your birthday weekend. Celebrate it all weekend long. Those are our noms. Not sure that the coin is really going to happen or affect us. We know that Big D can afford it, but if he were to win it, he would be putting Kylan and Sarah Beth up. So that doesn't change. Even if he wanted to get sassy and do something different, it would have probably been put Tiffany up. He can't do that. She's HOH. So unless Sarah Beth won the coin, I doubt it's going to get used. I mean, someone could have won it and flipped the coin and it not get used anyway. But I feel like there aren't really any other options happening. But let's get into it because Tiffany, I think, did a really good job last night talking and doing her one-on-ones, and this morning sort of setting things up. Not only was she sort of preparing for these noms and this week, but she was helping to set herself up moving forward as we get closer to being a cookout all 6. We only have, 3 non-cookout members left: Sarah Beth, Alyssa, and Claire. If Sarah Beth were to go this week, she obviously is close with Claire. She started to work on her relationship with Alyssa, just looking ahead for that end game. So let's talk about those one-on-ones because I think those were the most important. Linda, why does it take 6 hours? This is why. Everything's individual. They all have to walk in individually, open their envelope, and see how much they got BB bucks from the comp last night. Then they got to swipe their card, see what America voted, get all their totals together, and then they have to choose if they're going to play or not. And production is probably giving them all an allotted 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, because if you went in there and said, I don't want to play, you don't get to just walk out. You still have to stay in there a certain amount of time so that no one can go, they didn't play. They were in there just like a minute. So that is why it takes hours and hours upon hours. Whenever they do anything individually, this is what happens. Then on top of that, if someone did win the coin, then we have to go through that ceremony. We got to flip a coin. We have new noms go up. Good Lord, that takes forever. So might not be up for another couple hours. Hopefully they'll be up any minute now and we'll get some information here. But let's talk through this Tiffany HOH. Obviously, her meetings with everyone in the cookout, normal. We all agree Sarah Beth's the target this week. Even Kyland is agreeing. Not much he can do about that. Claire, yep, she's on board for Sarah Beth being the target, even though this morning she did a little cam talking and she said, do I think Sarah Beth should go over Kyland? No, Kyland should be the one to go. She said, but will I vote this way for my girl Tiff? Yes, I will. She said she's enjoying just watching Kyland and Sarah Beth squirm in general. But so she's not going to fight the vote because Tiffany has been trying to get Sarah Beth out for weeks. So it's not a surprise. It doesn't look like Tiffany's working with some secret alliance behind Claire's back. She's going to go along with that. So what's really important are her conversations with Alyssa and Sarah Beth. So she talked to Alyssa first. And, Alyssa's really good at coming into a one-on-one with an HOH and bring in some information, right? Remember last week when Sarah Beth was HOH and Alyssa walked in and she was like, did you see Tiffany's face? She did not want you to win HOH. Alyssa knows how to come to a meeting prepared. She's like, let me open my notes and give you some information. So she walked into this one-on-one with Tiffany and was like, look, Sarah Beth, while she was HOH, told me to play roulette and then told me to take Big D down. Why would I do that if she didn't tell me? And then she's like, I find out she's telling people that I made this decision. So she's like, let me clear that air. I'm not coming for you. And I did exactly what Sarah Beth told me to do last week. That's all on her. They talk a little bit about using the veto. Tiffany did a good job of I don't know how close you are with Sarah Beth. I didn't want to target. Would you want to use the veto on her if she were on the block and you played? And Alyssa's like, no, I ain't doing that. I don't need to save her. They already know that Xavier was going to be the third nominee. So Alyssa was like, I would love to save Xavier if I could. And Tiffany's like, great. That's fine with me. He's not my target. He's up there for other reasons. If you win veto and want to take him down, feel free. She's like, that's fine. She's like, I've already told Xavier if he wants to take himself, if he wins and takes himself down, great. Does not affect my noms whatsoever. If he comes down, she doesn't have to replace anybody. He just can take himself off the block, right? Tiffany, again, she's setting herself up for the end game. Let's talk this end game out. Let's say Sarah Beth goes this week, and let's say the cookout is able to take Claire out next week, leaving Alyssa as 7th place, last non-cookout. She's connected to Xavier. She's going to do, what Xavier wants. So Tiffany is really working this relationship of hey, don't want to vote me out. Don't want to put me up, right? How about that? She's also sort of setting the wheels in motion, knowing that she might sit on the block with Claire next week. She asked Alyssa this morning, she said, you're not my target. I don't even want to use you as a pawn. Hopefully you don't see the block at all this entire week. But would you mind, since I'm saving you or extending these courtesies to you, next week, because there's not a lot of people left. I would never ask you to like save me and Claire, not to put us up. Like, I get it. We're down to a few people. I might see the block with Claire next week. That would be understandable. But could I get your vote? If I protect you this week, could I just get your vote to save me if I'm sitting next to Claire next week? Which it is so smart, I think, because she knows more than Alyssa. She knows she's probably going to sit on the block next week next to Claire, unless Claire can win HOH next week. Tiffany can't win. And then it doesn't look weird when Tiffany stays and Claire leaves next week. If that were to happen, she got Alyssa to make this promise. Sure. Alyssa's like, this isn't anything weird or unusual. There's not a secret alliance manipulating all of us with these are the puppet strings and there's on the puppets. That's not happening. Alyssa's playing her own game, and she made this deal on her own per Tiffany's request. Boom, that's happening. Okay, so then her conversation with Sarah Beth last night, Tiffany's one-on-one with Sarah Beth, the first little bit of information Sarah Beth offered was Big D. She said, Big D told me he was going to put you and Claire up. Okay, that's some great information to bring to the table, Sarah Beth. He's an easy person to throw under the bus. Obviously, Tiffany's like, yeah, I bet he said that. Then Tiffany goes into sort of explaining, you and Kyland are a really strong duo. X and Alyssa, very strong duo. It's going to be one of y'all's. That's how she kind of phrases it. She's like, it's going to be one of y'all's. And she was like, you know what? You put Claire on the block last week when I thought we were working together. She said it all very calm and casual. And she's like, no, I want to work with you and Claire. She's like, yeah, that's so weird because you put Claire on the block. So like, I know you say you want to work with us, but like, ooh, you did that. And then you got rid of Derek X. Like, you took him out, and like, like now I don't have a guy like working with me and helping, protect me, but like you have Kylan still, and you kind of have X as well with the whole like relationships with the Kings and all. Like, ooh, you're in a really good position. It's just kind of the vibe Tiffany's putting out there, and Sarah Beth's picking it up. She's picking it up, and she's like, well, you know what? Come to think of it, what I learned on my HOH last week is Xavier and Alyssa, I think they're much closer to the Jokers than we all thought. Because Alyssa, when she won the roulette, wanted to take Big D down. Okay, girl, you told her to do that, and we all know, and now Tiffany knows, because Tiffany already knew, but Alyssa already said it. But here's Sarah Beth being like, I think Xavier and Alyssa have the Jokers. Like, their soup's close. And Alyssa took Big D down. So that's that. And Tiffany's like, yeah, interesting. Then Sarah Beth was like, and Xavier did tell me he would put you and Claire up. Now she's like, I'm in danger. Let me throw Xavier and Alyssa under the bus as much as I can. Here's some information. Now, remember, side note, they made a foursome last week. Sarah Beth, Kyland, Xavier, Alyssa, called the Monarchy. That didn't last. Here we are, throwing everyone under the bus. Did not last at all. So she's saying all this stuff about X and Alyssa. And then she's like, but Kyland, he really wants to repair this relationship. He's never said he'd come after you and Claire. He has mentioned like you guys used to be close and not anymore. He really would like to repair this relationship. Poor Sarah Beth. I kind of feel bad for Sarah Beth. So that was last night. Then Sarah Beth went to Kyland, and she's like, the writing's on the wall, right? She's very aware that she's possibly going up with Kylan. And she's like, oh my God, we're in trouble. Her wheels are spinning. She's like trying to talk it through. She's like trying to work it out with Kylan. And Kylan is like, oh yeah, I can see how we'd go up. Yeah. Oh well. His vibe was like so like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, I'm trying to play this game is what we're gonna do. Like, can we like, what do I need to say? Like, I gotta go back, I gotta have more information. Like, she's like totally trying to save her butt in this game. And he's like, you know what, no matter what, you had a great HOH, and like, you should never feel bad about that. You should never question what you did on mine, I mean your HOH. Okay. And she's like, oh my God. So eventually, after a few hours of that, she goes back to Tiffany for a late night, early morning one-on-one, a second one-on-one. And her energy, she's almost out of breath. She's like, okay, so I just also wanted to give you some more information. Like, she's clearly in a panic. And she says, so when I won HOH, Alyssa came in, and the first thing she said to me was, did you see Tiffany's face? She did not want you to win. She just starts spilling more. Sarah Beth, she's in danger. You in danger, girl. She's in danger. And she's like, Alyssa tried to throw you under the bus by saying, did I see your face? She went through the whole Hannah thing. Remember the whole Hannah thing where Sarah Beth wanted to go after Hannah, and then Hannah wanted to go after Sarah Beth. And then they both decided that Alyssa and Christian were the ones that planted that. They told Sarah Beth that Hannah was coming for her, and that's what got Sarah Beth worked up. That's the story they've been talking about for the last couple weeks. So she gives Tiffany all that information, and she's like, so I would have never wanted to come for Hannah. It was because Alyssa told me. Alyssa like lied to me about Hannah, and that's why. And then she was like, and Big D just came up to Kylan to tell him that Alyssa said she wants me out tonight. That happened tonight. Well, yeah, it did happen tonight because Alyssa had a one-on-one with Tiffany where Tiffany said Sarah Beth is her target. And so Alyssa's like, let me just get on board with that. She told Big D tells Kylan tells Sarah Beth, which I don't know why Kylan told Sarah Beth that. Like, why are you making things worse? But he did. So she's spilling all of this to make Alyssa the target, or Alyssa and Xavier the target instead of her and Kylan. Tiffany does a great job of just like, okay. Yeah. And then this morning, she nominated Sarah Beth and Kylan. So that did not work. Unfortunately, Sarah Beth. Here's why I feel bad for Sarah Beth is because she's just getting played. And she's not very good at the game, unfortunately. I wanted more for someone with my name. I really, really did. But she got snowed by Kylan. And now this week, he knows she's going home. And he's just like, oh, can I play with your hair, though? So, oh boy. Kylan and Sarah are sitting on the block. Xavier is also sitting on the block. We have to assume the three of them are going to play veto. Like I said earlier, Xavier is going to try to win it so that he can take himself off. No big deal. Tiffany has asked Kylan to try not to win it, but obviously it's more important that Sarah Beth not win it. If for some reason Sarah Beth does win it, they have to put Alyssa up. Tiffany has to put Alyssa up. There's no other option. She's not going to put Claire up. So if Kylan wins it, she will more than likely put Big D up. to salvage a relationship with Alyssa. She does not want to damage that relationship if she doesn't have to. And Big D has sort of fallen into this position where you can put him up on the block. You know how it happens with the mastermind of a game. People feel like they can throw him up as a pawn easily. Bruce, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you for being here. All right, what are our questions, guys? Not too much here. We're waiting for the coin of destiny to come back. Again, we know Big D can afford it, but with those random envelopes last night, we don't know who else might be able to afford it. Probably Hannah, but she's not going to use it. No. Ben says, do we have an all-female alliance forming? No. We have the 3 females of the cookout who are working well together, I'd say, but they're not a separate alliance. They have definitely talked about how they need to work together once it's down to 6. We've got Tiffany and Claire. They've always been a duo. And Tiffany is trying to work well with Alyssa. But Alyssa's not aligned with any other females. Sarah Beth's definitely not aligned with any other females. So no, there's no all ladies alliance. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate compliments. Thank you, thank you. Ooh, Fred. If Claire is HOH next week, who would she put up? Okay, well, what she's going to want to do in Claire's hearts of hearts, she's going to want to put Xavier and Kyland up on the block together. Those are her 2 threats to her game. She does not work closely with them. She knows that X is winning this game. She's very aware of his position in the house. But would Tiffany talk her out of that? Probably. She would probably just put one of them up, thinking she's making some smart game move. But it would be because Tiffany's in her head. Would like to see what Claire would actually do. We need it because I would like to see it. Does that count as a we need? Maureen saying, I don't think Claire's going to change anything if she wins the coin. She has no idea about anything, and it's so sad. I really had high hopes for her. Yeah, I mean, the cookout has done an amazing job. They've snowed everybody. Claire wouldn't change it if she got the coin. Hannah wouldn't change it if she got the coin. Big D wouldn't change it if he got the coin. The only person who would possibly change it if they were able to get the coin is Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth had $50, I think. She had $50, but she got an envelope last night, and I have to imagine she got a 50 from America. Interestingly, last night, she was like, America, maybe they'll give me 100 because I'm in danger. And America went, I don't know. You just told us to wipe our butts with it. So, I'm going to say America didn't do it. Just a guess. We don't know for sure yet. But with those random envelopes, it's possible that she could afford it. And if she is able to afford it and wins it, flips it correctly, then she will put up Alyssa and Big D probably, because Xavier's already on the block. So she'd put up Alyssa and Big D, I bet. And that's what we would see. But I think the odds are really, really low. I think the odds are low that this coin is being used at all. The flippity flop flop coin. I feel bad for these twists because they can be very exciting. They can work. And then for some reason they don't. Tina asked, do you think Tiff would talk Claire out of it? I think she would talk Claire into putting one of them up with a pawn, I think is how Tiffany would phrase it. So if Claire was like, I want to put X and Kylan up, Tiffany would be like, I love it. Yes. But what if one comes down, you've made both of them mad? Why don't you just put one of them up? And if that one comes down, you can put the other one up. You know, I feel like Tiffany would do something like that where she made it seem like, you know, wait and see after the veto if you want to put the other one up, but don't put them up originally. You know, that kind of thing. So it wouldn't be a straight up like, no, don't do that. But she'd be like, I don't know, put Alyssa up. You're not close to Alyssa. Put her up. Yep. But if Tiffany won HOH, he wouldn't have to use the coin. So even if he were still in the house, and let's say HOH still went the same way, he wouldn't use the coin. So see, it could have been exciting. And then it turns out to be a flop. Oh, I also forgot to tell you about Sarah Beth. So DX last night in his eviction speech, we all heard him say someone is playing a Nicole F game, right? Sarah Beth did not hear him correctly. She thought he said a cold AF game. Cold AF. Cold AF game. She was like, for hours, she was like, he told me I played a cold AF game. It wasn't until Kylan said, like, and this was like a partial, like, let me cheer you up. He was like, you got compared to one of the greats. You got compared to a winner. And she was like, what are you talking about? I got compared to a winner. He was like, yeah, Nicole F. And she was like, he called me cold F. And he said, no, he called you Nicole F. She thought he said cold F. Sometimes it's just funny. Sometimes it's just funny. Okay. Ken says, do you think Claire is smart enough to avoid Kylan's cuddling look? What he did to Sarah Beth? Yeah, he does not have the pull over Claire. Ever. Whether she's HOH or not. Like, she's been on to Kylan since week, 3? She's the first one who told Tiffany, like, something's going on with Kylan. Like, he's got this relationship. He's got this relationship. I think he's really close with Sarah Beth. Like, Claire has been on him. And then Kylan put her up, right? Kylan put her up. Yeah. Kylan nominated her. And then Kylan's girl nominated her the next week. Like, she got no love for him. Sasha, very good question. Do the women in the cookout realize that X is going to win this game? They are starting to, I should say Tiffany is starting to realize this. She has brought it up with Hannah, and individually she's brought it up with Azza. Now, Azza is like, yes, I see it. I hear you. I'm with you. But we all know that Azza then walks off and is like, oh, Xavier. So what Azza will do about it, I'm not so sure. And kind of same thing with Hannah. When Tiffany brings it up to Hannah, she's like, but we could bring X to like 4, right? The upside is Hannah knows that Xavier isn't planning on cutting Hannah, right? Hannah actually has better odds than Azza does in Xavier's world. So she, like it's more important that Tiffany see it and work against it. Whereas Hannah can like go to the end with Xavier, like he would go to the end with her. But I'm also slightly concerned that Hannah thinks she could beat Xavier, and I'm not sure that's true, but I think she might be under that delusion, and that's the problem. So they see it ish, but are they going to follow through on it? Not sure. And also not sure that they're going to be able to win the comp. So I'm worried for them. Sharon says, how many will be left on the 2-hour show? The 2-hour show is on September 16th. That will be the week that we would be losing 7th place. So let's say we have our 6 cookouts plus Alyssa or Claire, right? So that is that week where ideally for the cookout, the last non-cookout person would be leaving. So they would end up being 7th place would go out top of show. And then if it's a double, 6th place would go out. If it's a triple, then 5th place would go out in that episode. And no, there's been a lot of talk about it being a triple, but it also could be like one of those fake doubles that BB Can just did, where it looks like a double, but then there's a battle back. So could be a triple, could be something else. But that's where we would be on the 16th. Joseph says, was the high roller twist just created to fill up TV time? I heard Taryn say the other day on a morning update that sometimes twists are created. It's not just to fill up TV time. It's producing a show. You spend like a month to 6 weeks preparing for this entire season before it starts. And a group of producers sit down and they come up with all sorts of ideas. And so I wouldn't call it to fill TV time. I would call it producing a reality show. They come up with the comps. They come up with ways to save yourself, like HOH and veto, and twists. Like that's just part of producing a show. I know that the internet likes to just get mad about it, but that's what you have to do. You can't just have them sit around in a room and then vote people out. That's boring. Even if the twists don't work, it's still something to try. Tina's asking if X and Kai mess up on purpose during the HOH. I don't think they did mess up on purpose. I think that their plan, I know that Kylan's plan was to wait until Alyssa and Claire were out of the HOH before he threw it. So I don't think he messed up on purpose. I think he got it wrong and was out because Alyssa was still in the game. And same thing with X. I know that X wasn't needing to win this HOH, but going out on the first question was not his ideal way of throwing it, if that makes sense. So both of them weren't necessarily going to win, but they did accidentally get it wrong. I agree. Ozza needs to wake up from Xavier's spell. He'll cut her to get to the finals. I love me some Ozza. She is my Sagittarius soul sister. I love her so much, but she is not playing a stellar game. She's also very self-aware and knows she's not playing a stellar game, which I guess is part of why I love her. Ooh, Sasha, you want Tiffany to take the shot this week while X is on the block? We're all going to say, what if? If Tiffany doesn't make it to the end, we're going to be like, what if? What if you kept DX? What if you took the shot when X was on the block? What if? I don't think she's going to do it, but what if? Xavier has a beautiful path to the end. He is a sitting pretty. You made it, Ethan. We're here. To recap, Sarah Beth, Kylan, and Xavier are on the block. We are waiting for the high roller room to come back so that we know what the heck happened with the coin, but we don't think anything's happening with the coin. So we're only partially waiting. Well, the comments keep jumping. I love you. You genius blonde, yo. Thank you. It was better for both X and Kai to throw this. If Kai ended up winning, I think we were all about to become wall yellers. Like, what? No, sir. No. Mm-mm. You need to sit down. Oh, yeah. Who just said? Tracy, DX's goodbye messages would have made good TV last night. Yeah, because Kyland, I only saw the clip of Kyland's. But Kyland said, I've been working with this other large alliance who's all still in the house since week 2 or 1 or whatever he said. So sorry is basically what his message said. And that's like almost spilling the cookout. The cookout as a whole has agreed not to talk about the cookout in these goodbye messages. They had that discussion, like, do we want to start telling people? And they said, no, do not tell people in the goodbye messages. Not sure, how that would make people feel and whatever. So in my head, I'm like, is someone going to, do it anyway? Because if that got back, that would be not good. If that person made it to the finals, they might lose votes for that. Like, it's iffy. But Kylan basically said it without giving the name or, but he said there's a large alliance and everyone's still in the house. And like DX is like, wait, they're all still in the house? He's like trying to put it together. Woo! Interesting. Do I think there'll be a new twist after the Coin of Destiny? Whatever's happening on the 16th, yes. Whether that's a triple or a fake double or a battle back or whatever that is on the 16th will be some sort of twist. And then I think that's it. That'll be the end. Yeah, they did. They had the wrong answers. Another thing I haven't talked about yet is last night, Hannah had a massive breakdown. She was sobbing. She was really hit by Derek leaving. And I thought it was interesting. The internet, a lot of people were sad, obviously, to see her sobbing so much, like really gutted. And then, of course, some people were like, screw you, you did this. I honestly can see all the sides. I mean, she was savage. Hannah, she put a knife in Derek X's back and then she like twisted it and like shoved him out the door with it. Like Tiffany, who was also very close with Derek, wanted to work with him and tried to save him and keep him for as long as possible, because also besides the fact that you get along, that's really good for your game, Hannah and Tiffany. But Hannah, for her reasons, was like, no, cut him, get him out of here. He's got to go. And she actively worked against him. And he, up until the last second, was like, you've done so much for me. You're the best, number one. He said to the other guys, like Xavier, like, look out for Hannah. Like, so much care for her, right? And she knows what she did against him. And so she was just like, I think all the guilt hit her because she knows what she did against him, right? And so I was honestly happy to see she was human. She is one of the, some people are like, I don't play with my emotions, but they do, Tiffany. But she's actually someone who can really not play the game with emotions. Like she is able to, be a bit of a robot and put her emotions aside. And so I was honestly happy to see like she's human. She does have feelings. It does hurt. It hit her. And I think that it's great to like cry it out, have a night, get it out of your system. But at the same time, like I really hope that she can step into being a bit of a savage villain. Like I hate that she's getting this like cutesy edit on the show. I think they didn't even tell us all the stuff she did. I think that's compelling. I love a cute little villain who's like, yeah, I have a crush on this guy and I'm going to take him out. Like, give me that storyline and own it and go for it and don't lose it, Hannah. Like, they call her Chada because she said she doesn't like being called Hannah. I still call her Hannah. But they all, took her request. And she's a Taurus. And that's a good question. That's very important. Earth signs are stealth in this game because unless their moon is a water sign or something else, they are able to compartmentalize. Xavier is also a Taurus. They are able to be like, yeah, let's look at this very practically. You got to go. You're a threat. You're a target. I am going to vote you out. Janelle, she's a Capricorn. It's also an earth sign. I will kick you out. I will cut you. Let's go. I love an earth sign in this game. So, Chada, Hannah, whatever you want to go by, do it. Be savage. Let's go. But I also understand that the guilt's going to get you. People are human. It's okay to cry. Feeds are still down, and they're probably going to be down for a while. Who knows? But like I said, I don't think that the coin's going to get used. I don't think there's anybody else worth nominating. I mean, the two biggest guys are on the block, Kylan and Xavier. So anyone non-cookout, that looks pretty good. I mean, I guess Alyssa, if Alyssa could get the coin, she probably would keep Sarah Beth on the block, but she can't take Xavier down. So yeah, why not keep Kylan? That doesn't hurt Alyssa at all. So no, there's a slight chance that Sarah Beth gets it. That's the only way it's going to be used. And in that case, Alyssa goes up with Big D and Xavier's already on the block. So that's what's to be expected. That's basically it. Did I miss any other? Probably not, but we don't know what those envelopes had. So that's the only iffy thing. Is the only way X goes off the block is if he wins veto? Yes. So he does not have to stay there till eviction night. If he wins veto, he can come down and we just stay with our two noms, Sarah Beth and Kylan. If Kylan were to come down, then she will have to renom somebody, and it will more than likely be Big D as a pawn. If Sarah Beth wins veto and comes down, then she'd have to put Alyssa up. She'd be forced to put Alyssa up, but that just means Alyssa's going instead of Sarah Beth because it's just Alyssa, Sarah Beth, and Claire left besides the cookout. So, it is Virgo season. Happy Virgo season. I don't think we had any Virgos this year, did we? Let me just double check our cast here. We had a bunch of Leos. We had a couple Cancers. We had one Libra, which is after Virgo season, but he got evicted first week. I don't think we had any Virgos. Nope. No Virgos. So sad. The last Virgo we saw was BB Can 9 Tara. She was our last Virgo. And she did a very good showing. So there we go. Thank you, all of the mods, for reminding people to like. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for hanging out with me, asking me questions. I appreciate you chatting with me. That's that about BB23 as of now. I'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific for Survivor South Africa. Holy moly, that episode. What? So much fun. We're almost to the end. And then Monday, I'll be back with David to recap Sunday night's episode and talk about what we learned this weekend on the live feeds. Any coin stuff, veto stuff. We'll get all of that on Monday. Hi, Rick. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being a Sarah. Oh, I've got to hold strong for all the Sarahs out here messing it up. Let's e-vote. E-vote Sarah Beth this week. Look, she added the Beth, and that's where it went totally wrong. If she had just stuck with Sarah, came in as a Sarah, I bet she would have been brilliant. But she added on the Beth. That's her fault. You know, what are you going to do? All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.